back. I know everybody had a blast last night. I want to thank Kacie for being the hostess with the mostest. And it was so nice to see all the watch parties and all the craziness. And that's what it was about. It was about fun. We know it's been a really challenging year and a half, and we wanted to kind of bring some connection. So today we're going to have a great meeting for you. It's going to focus on hope and health. Like somebody said yesterday, we have to think about ourselves too. We have to replenish that pot and give ourselves energy so we could be the best advocates out there in the community. So what I want to tell you is, since today we're only going to have the panelists on camera, if you have a question, you can use the Q&A button. And if you're like me and you don't know where to find that, please just put it in the chat, and our amazing tech guru, Michelle Strausser, will help us answer those questions, or at least point out that there is a question. But at this time, I want to turn it over. As you all know, I'm District Director 1, but I want to turn it over to District Director 2 to give her welcome. Rosetta?
Good morning, Heidi. Good morning, Kacie. I am so glad that we are all back here today. So looking forward to this meeting. Heidi and Kacie did an amazing job last night. So I just want to say thank you to my team for helping to make this a wonderful district meeting. Thank you all so much for coming back to join us. We have a great day planned for you guys. And so we are so thankful and grateful that you guys came back to join us. So we're going to get started and we're just going to have a great time. Kacie?
Yeah, same as they said. I know that normally we would just be in our districts doing this, and we have to look for the silver lining. So I think it's been so fun to host our district meetings with all the districts. So I'm kind of excited about that opportunity, and I'm excited to hear our speakers. For any of your people that did not join last night, we had a blast. I had fun. I hope y'all had fun. And I think we have some fantastic things lined up today. So if you have members who didn't join last night or not on today, we're going to be here all day, people, not all day, but we have plenty of time to rally the troops and tell them they do not want to miss out on this. So text your clubs, let them know they still have plenty of time to hop on and take advantage of these great speakers we have. So I know y'all are tired of hearing from me, so I'm going to turn it back over, but so excited to see y'all, so excited for everybody that participated last night, and so excited to see what we have in store today.
Okay, great. And we're going to start the meeting out with a actually, we're going to start it for the pledges at the end, but this is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to be led by none other than Susan Coyle, who's a phenomenal member of the Davy Club. Ooh, Davy. I love Davy. It's one of my favorite clubs. And she is the Public Awareness Chair. So at this time we can stand, and I think Michelle's going to put a flag on the screen as Susan leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Maybe there's no flag on the screen. Michelle, there's supposed to be a flag. Okay, if not, we'll imagine a flag.
Okay, all right, we'll imagine a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Who's next? Okay. Michelle.
Okay, there is a song that's playing, and I've been told there's no music in the background. It is just a soft song. I will see if I can find the music that's playing as well.
Good morning. Welcome to Homestead, Florida. Homestead, Florida is located in Miami-Dade County and is known for its historic contribution to the development of South Florida, as it served a major hub for Henry Flagler's railroad starting in 1903. Today, the combination of its beautiful natural setting lush tree-lined streets, and unique vernacular architecture all contribute to reminding visitors of the spirit of early South Florida communities. We think you will find that Homestead is a bustling city that still retains a small town feel. Homestead, Sir Optimus International Homestead, was chartered July 14th, 1948. Mrs. Marjorie Archer was the first president. The charter dinner was held at the local Lions Club, and cost for that dinner was $1.50. A deposit of $10 was required to cover any breakage, but $7 would be refunded if there was no damage. I'm told that they got their $7 back. Among the first year activities, this club provided palm trees for the city park, sponsored the blood bank, purchased books for the A. Lewis School Library, sponsored a room at the local hospital, and something my favorite is they sent a box of 1,000 limes. They sent 1,000 boxes of limes to New York City for the Sir Optimus International Conference in 1948. So we've been an active club for many years. We've got a wonderful membership. As you can see from our video, we're active all the time. But one of our great contributions is our membership to the community. And Dr. Linda Fagan, our first speaker, has a fantastic history in Homestead, as well as being a valued member of our club. She's an experienced healthcare provider with over 40 years success in the healthcare field as a nurse practitioner associate and in private practice. During her years of successful service to patients and the community, she has earned a nursing degree, a BSc, an MSc, a PhD, and an MD-BSc, for which she is currently preparing to sit for her licensed board certification exam. She is a psychologist, nurse practitioner. It just goes on, but I'm going to let her talk more about what her accomplishments background is, as well as introduce her team and around the table. So Linda, are you ready to go?
President Yvonne, I'm looking for her name on our panelist list. Do you know if she would be the SCATI Board of Directors?
She is, I beg your pardon?
What she would be listed as under her Zoom name. I just put a chat box out, but I don't see her name under our attendees, but there is a SCATI SCATI Board of Directors. Thank you very much, President.
She's speaking from our theater.
No worries. I just wanted to make sure.
That's her.
She'll be live with you in one moment.
Thank you. So filling the time, there we are. So I'd now like to introduce our speaker for the morning, Dr. Linda Fagan. Linda, are you on?
Yeah, we're here.
Yay, there we go. Okay. I've just introduced you, Linda. Take it from here.
Yeah. Hey, how are you guys? First of all, yeah, now I can see us. I have to put my glasses on. This is representing let the sunshine shine in and taking care of yourself right here. And I'll explain the other sign in a little while. It's nice to be here. We hope we don't bore you this morning. I've been up since about 4:30. Just want you to know my medical hat never changes. My 5-year-old granddaughter is throwing up and wanted her nanny. So it's like I'm peeling my eyes back as we speak. This is my wonderful group of bonded friends. Some of us are in Sir Optimus, some of us are not, and we're of different age groups. This is Emily, who's been right here. This is Shannon Taylor, and this is Lindsay Moore. All of us are going to speak today so that you're not bored by me completely. So, and there's a lot of things we're going to touch on about anxiety and depression, and especially anxiety and depression, in this day and age. First, I'll say that I think anxiety and depression has started and is more aware. We're more aware of it now since 9/11. And since the COVID, we're having a harder time. Women in particular are having a harder time trying to keep things together with our families and our friends, and just trying to keep our daily life together, with our jobs and with our children and whatever. in my medical practice, what happens is I see medical people every single solitary day, and I do counseling. But out of maybe those 10 to 20 people I see a day, I'll bet you there's 8 of them that have psychosomatic things that are going on with depression and anxiety. And some of them are so afraid to take medication. But the biggest thing is that they've admitted that they've had anxiety and depression for a long time. And a lot of the things that are happening in our world brought it to a head. I'm blessed with the fact that I'm not only a medical person, but psychologically I can sit and talk with people too, because a couple of my degrees have helped me be a more effective listener. So I'd like to start by just quoting this mailer that I got probably about 20 years ago, which I think everybody should be hanging on their walls. And if anybody wants a copy, it's a real good thing, because I keep it on my wall in my office. And it's having anxiety and depression is a little like being scared and tired at the same time. It's the fear of failure, but no urge to be productive. It's wanting friends, but hate socializing. It's wanting to be alone, but not wanting to be lonely. It's caring about everything, then caring about nothing. It's feeling everything at once, then feeling paralyzing numb. And that's a very true statement, because a lot of us have in the past come from abusive situations, whether it be addiction, whether it be verbal abuse, whether it just be something that was said to us when we were in school, when we were little or whatever, that we weren't good enough and we wouldn't make it or whatever. And we have felt that most of our lives. And the bonding that we do as women is so very important. I didn't realize it, but I think my anxiety started when I was 4, when my brother died of cystic fibrosis, my oldest brother. And then I had 2 other brothers who had cystic fibrosis too, and they died also with this incurable disease. And then I had an abusive, physically and mentally abusive parent that was addictive. So with that said, I think I inherited the low serotonin levels or dopamine levels that happen in your brain when you're over anxious or over depressed. And I think the serotonin was the biggest thing with me. I went through nine psychologists. And with 9 psychologists, I finally found one that helped me the most. 9 different counselors is a lot. And having my MS and my PhD became me more of an effective listener, to listen to people, listen to what they have to say, listen to my friends, not talk as much, and be a part of the process. There are so many things that we can do to help each other. And that's one of the things that's right here. These 3 people are bonding people with me. We can sit, we can have cocktails, we can sit at a meeting and we can express ourselves. That's very important. Seroptimus is my way out too. My daughter helped me join Seroptimus, and her and I are a part of it. I mean, these things like family, these are your sunshine here. This thing is kicking cancer's ass when I had breast cancer. These things like coloring books, choosing life, and doing sort of these types of things. These things about putting stickers around your house or buying boards that you write a saying on, you get up and you face it in the morning so that it gives you that encouragement every morning. These things like stress balls for you to have in your hand, like I gave all to my girls this morning, that something that you can hold in your hand and physically do. These things like books like this, which are, you'll see yourself in print. Don't call me crazy. Mental anxiety. And you don't have to read the whole book, but draw from it the things that are pertinent to you. Wayne Dwyer, Love Your Own Self, great writer, Happiness is the Way. Self-help books helped me get through all my anxiety. And then these 101 anxiety, you can do stones, you can do massages, you can do CBD oil, you can do lavender and all of those types of things too. But support each other, love each other, be kind, call each other. See what you can do when you're having a bad day. Like today, I thought, I don't know if I can do this today because I was so worn out with my granddaughter. But I knew it was important to you folks and to my friends who are probably having a bad day too. You know, when you're having a bad day, reach out to those people who are important to you. Don't be embarrassed by it. And if you feel like you need something, you know, that's natural, there are many natural things out there like kava, like St. John's wort, like valerian, like chamomile, like SAMe. Those are things that you can take naturally, but you know, consult your doctor about it first. But they're natural kind of things. But do the natural things that you can do to help you to overcome so much of the depression and anxiety that's out there. And I wish you all the best. And if you have any questions for me at the end, I'm going to turn this over to Emily, and it's her chance to talk. Emily all of us come from different ways of life, and we have different families. I have 2 girls and a son, and they're all older. So I'm going to turn this over to Emily.
Hi, everyone. I want to pinch off of what Linda was talking about because I do have a hard time not all the time, but a lot of days I just feel off, and I tend to close into myself when I'm feeling this way because it's what I was used to. I have 3 children, 2 of whom are already grown up. So I have 2 granddaughters actually from my oldest, and I was a single mom for more than 10 years, raising my 2 children on my own. And I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a small group of friends, you know, and sometimes you don't want to say this to people, how you're feeling, because you feel embarrassment. But when you learn how to open up, and maybe it's just talking to yourself at home, but you need to realize, okay, I'm going through this and I need to help myself out of it. I personally have not been feeling my greatest, but I talked to Linda this morning and I felt like it helped me because the intention was never for me to open up and tell her what I was going through because, again, close up. I close up and I just I always say, I can handle this on my own. And 90% of the times I will, but what happens on the other 10% that I don't? And then, you know, unfortunately, you know, this is not unfortunate, but I also have a 5-year-old son that I screamed at him the other day for some little thing. And I was like, I felt bad because I was like, that was uncalled for. I didn't need to do that. So it broke my heart, even though it's okay to scream at them every once in a while because they're kids. But that day it affected me more because I knew that I, you know, was going through a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. So I tried to help myself out of it, but this morning I still wasn't feeling good. And Linda called me and I was able to open up to her. And it took a load off I'm not here. I don't feel it anymore. I feel much better. I'm not perfect right now, but much better. But I found that communicating with certain people, like a group of friends like this, really helps because sometimes even when you're home, unfortunately, it is my personal opinion that as much as your husband wants to help you, 80% of the husbands, they don't understand what anxiety is. They don't know it. So you don't want to continue to say this to your spouse or kids or anybody sometimes because I'm speaking for myself, you sound like you're just always hurting or always something's wrong or you're a nag. Yeah. And I don't want to be like that to my family. So sometimes I have to put a smile on my face and just kind of go with the flow. But deep down inside, I'm just like, you know, I'm dying. I'm like just feeling terrible. But usually it goes away in a day or 2. Sometimes it lasts a little longer, but I do have my family support. I'm happy. I always ask myself, why do I feel this way? I don't really have any problems. You know, I have a wonderful family. My husband's amazing. But it's not their fault and it's not my fault. It's just what we're meant to go through, I guess.
hormonally, and we're expected to be too many things to too many people. Whether you volunteer, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a sister, you're a friend, it's a lot.
Well, I do notice that age changes things quite a bit. I'm not so young anymore. I'll be 47 next April, and by no means I'm saying that I feel old or anything, but I do notice that the hormonal changes are different now than they were 10, 15 years ago. So it's definitely important to try to reach out to someone when you're not feeling great, because chances are they were feeling the same way yesterday or at the same time, and you're probably going to help each other. That's a great thing to have a group of support. And, you know, I did watch this conference one time with Jamie Lynn, something her name was a few months ago. I can't remember the name of it, but I even bought her book, and she had one of the coaches, you know, speak for a segment of this, and the person said, take a deep breath when you're feeling this and count to 10 and try it. And I have to say, I will admit, I forget to do that most of the time, but the few times that I have done it, it has helped. Because then I don't know what happens. You go and do a few dishes and then you forgot about it. It's amazing. So I'm going to do my best to try to do that more. And I hope it gives all of you, you know, a little advice and a little tip to maybe try that so that you can feel a little better one day.
This morning I gave them all stress balls so that they could sit here and do this while we're talking if they wanted to. And these are good things to invest in.
Okay, Lizzie, how are you feeling today?
Well, I was gonna start by kind of going back and saying that I don't know where, I can't pinpoint where mine started, what caused it to start for me, because I never really knew what anxiety was. I didn't know what the feeling was. I just thought, okay, this is normal. This is just how everyone feels, whatever. I'll just kind of, like you said, you kind of like brush it off, bury it. Exactly. And I feel like that's also how a lot of us were raised. You know, just kind of, you know, bury it under the rug, put a smile on the face, you know, everything's fine. So we kind of were raised to ignore our feelings. And I think what's happened where just the last 2 or 3 years, I've just figured out, hey, this is anxiety. And it's because everyone's talking about it more. It's more open. People aren't scared anymore to bring it up. It's everywhere, you know, the books, everything. I feel like it's all over, exactly. And it's all over social media. You know, go see a therapist, go see a psychologist. And it's great because we're all encouraging each other more and giving each other these like tips and tricks.
And even those quotes that sometimes I think you posted one this morning or last night. I'm like, that is so true. So it kind of helps you, like, yeah,
exactly.
And sometimes you laugh it through. You're like, man,
Exactly.
Yeah, I hit the spot today. You know, it's like Shannon and you write things like it hits the spot. It's like, boy, they were thinking the same thing I was thinking this morning. I wonder how that happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And that goes back to the same thing that you guys are saying is our circle of friends and the support that we all have to be for each other. And then it's little things like what I tend to do is keep myself so busy that I don't even sit down the whole day. I'll just stay busy the whole day so I don't have time to think about my anxiety and how I feel. So, and I think something good to do is to kind of find a hobby or something you enjoy. Like for me, it's baking. So if I spend time baking, I won't think about how I feel, everything I have to do, and kind of drowning in that anxiety of, it's like sitting on your chest, you know, like it's the weirdest feeling ever. And so I just think sitting around makes it worse. So we have to have
an elephant on your chest.
literally, yes, yeah.
I flare up when I'm having anxiety for some reason. My chest gets hot and my ears get hot. And I truly believe that it spikes my blood pressure too, because I've taken my blood pressure and I'm like, you know, it doesn't happen all the time and I maybe don't notice that it does, but I do feel that, you know, it flares me up. I feel hot.
No, that's what I said. I think that our blood pressure is rising. Then we feel that.
But if you have that overwhelming feeling too with the anxiety, a lot of it is that there are certain things that you can do, like exercising and stuff like that, because it increases your endorphins. But at that particular moment when you're having the anxiety, could be you're in the middle of shopping at Marshall's or someplace like that. A lot of it is just re-examining your life and
the anxiety that you might have had as you grew up and the way you felt when you grew up, and if there was any addiction where you now have lows or serotonin levels that are going crazy or dopamine levels that are going crazy and you inherited that. And if that's the case and the anxiety continues, even in a hormonal stage or going through the change, because you go through that every 20 years, you have to admit it, and at least admit it to your medical professional or admit it to your psychologist and say, you know, I think I need to be tweaked a little bit. You know, I can't go out with my girlfriends every night, so I need to be tweaked. Just a little bit. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I think where I notice a lot of my like panic attack or anxiety attacks happening is when I'm driving, because I don't like driving and I don't know where that started, or it's always been that way. And so what I do, I saw online somewhere where someone posted that their therapist or whoever that they were talking to about their anxiety said, when you feel that coming on, eat sour candy. And I love candy. So I thought, you know what? I'll try it. I'll try it.
I actually heard that peppermints is really good.
I haven't tried that. I'll get that soon and try that. But it actually worked. So I keep the little, you know, I check out at the grocery store, the little packs of the sour candies that you just suck on, that they say sours on them. And they're right there with a gum and everything is at checkout. And I just grab those every time at the store and I keep them in my bag. And I'll pop one or two in my mouth and I feel like I'm in this panic and I can't, you know, I can't do this right now. I have to focus on this. You know, my kids are in the car. I need to head over here and get this done. So it's like a distraction. I don't know how, but it does kind of distract you. So that's a little good thing. Yeah, that's something that I like to do. And again, the main thing for me is calling someone if I need to call somebody. So, because we all understand exactly how each other feels, and it's, you know, you're not going to get that judgment from your circle and your group. So I think if you haven't done that yet, you need to reach out to somebody that you feel comfortable talking to, because just like I think Emily said, they might be going through the same thing and you have no idea, and then you guys connect over that and you can be there for each other, even if it's you're busy and you have to shoot them a text message and they get back to you when they can't get back to you, and then you guys can discuss it together and yeah.
And Lindsay and Emily have younger children and older children, and that's a big thing too, that weighs on them as far as balancing that, because and then Emily is a grandmother too, so I mean she's divided with a 5-year-old, and then her kids are in there.
My grandkids are 75.
See, and so there's a big gap there, and Lindsay has a little one, and she has 11 and 13-year-old, 9 and 12-year-old. And by 11:30 today, Lindsay's going to have to drive all the way to Coral Gables to take her son to a baseball thing. So the pressure, we're all in pressure cookers, and we have to find some way to bring that sunshine into our life somehow. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but you know, I'm trying to. This is what we always do. This is how our group works, and this is why I thought it would be a good idea for us to sit and talk. Okay, great job, girls. Shannon, you have the floor.
Well, I'm glad they left me for last because I'm the long-winded one.
And she told me I would be.
So, most of you know me. You know a very good portion of my story, my journey. We all go through things that give us anxiety and trauma and fears. And some of us have good coping skills, some of us don't. It's what we work on. My life is no different than some, yet very different to others. We each have our own trauma, and mine doesn't diminish yours, and yours does not diminish mine. So with that being said, it's how we learn to deal with it. So I'm going to talk about self-care. Most of us have heard of where we are now in in this pro-mental health therapy type of environment, and I've been in therapy for the last 3 years, trauma-informed therapy to be exact. We have to work on our own mental health. It says, without mental health, healing of our physical health suffers because the body keeps score. The body will tell you what you haven't done because it will remind you of your issues. It shows up as headaches, digestive issues, heart issues, blood pressure, teeth grinding. For some, medication is suitable and necessary. I personally don't prefer medication. I like homeopathic. We as a society, we are now truly embracing the term self-care and proper mental health. What we need to understand is that self-care is not selfish. It's put it into perspective where you're on an airplane and the flight attendant says, take the oxygen mask down and put it on you first before you put it on the person next to you. You can't save anybody if you can't save yourself. So put the oxygen on yourself first. You can't do anything properly, be it as an employee, be it as a mother, be it as a wife, as a friend, if you don't take care of yourself. You can't continue to pour out and be empty if you don't take care of yourself. And self-care comes in many forms. And it is defined as a process of taking care of oneself with behaviors that promote health and active management of illness when it occurs. In its simplest forms, self-care can be eating healthy, it can be exercise, walking, enough water, getting necessary sleep, taking a spa bath, yoga, drinks with girlfriends. It can be a concert, and there's many concerts coming up. It can be a beach day. Gardening, getting in the dirt, playing in the dirt is grounding. It can be going to a play. We're right here in Seminole Theater. The Seminole Theater is very active. It can be swimming, it can be massage therapy. And there are 4 categories of self-care. There's emotional, physical, psychological, and spiritual. For those who attend temple, synagogue, mosque, church, whatever it is, even if it's in your own house, reading, and so forth. And COVID has caused us more than we expected. We weren't created to live in isolation. We have to reconnect with each other, with our friends and our loved ones. So this meeting, this get together last night with the sunshine boxes, it was important. That's part of our sisterhood. And we as Seroptimus sisters, we have to stay connected. It's a bond that bond and camaraderie that keeps us strong, it keeps us healthy. For me to deal with my stress and work on my own self-care, I started to walk, and then I started to run. I realize it doesn't look like it, but I started to run about 10 years ago, and I've run several 5Ks. I've got another one coming up in December. And for the most part, my house is organic and gluten-free. I take supplements. I practice my own self-care religiously. And our sisterhood connection is more important than we think. We all are going through something at different times of the day, but we're all going through something, and we are connected. We have to stop thinking that our self-care is selfish, because it's not. We cannot be effective in any other part of our life if we do not replenish what's missing in us. An empty vessel it's empty. A car with no gas can't go anywhere. We're the same way. We have to work on our mental health, and we have to get reconnected to each other. It's imperative. Thank you.
Our Seroptimus group and I've only been in it 2 years. Our Seroptimus group, my seminal group, the groups that I belong to, I choose to. But also, even with your volunteer associations that you belong to, you can be sucked dry also. Choose to be what helps support you too. Yeah, I mean, if you can't drive a bus to Okeechobee to pick up prisoners, I'm just saying this, then say, I can't do that. Somebody else is going to do it. That somebody else is going to have to be in charge of it. Now, I can provide you with sandwiches, but I can't drive the bus. I'm really sorry, but I can't drive the bus. You have to learn and choose to say no, or learn and choose to say yes. I mean, there are so many things that go on in your community that are so important that you can be such a part of. And the key word here is purposeful. Your life is purposeful. And I think Seroptimus is one of those sisterhood clubs that makes us feel purposeful. These people make me feel purposeful. My club makes me feel purposeful of what I do and how I do it. Even if it's in a small amount that I can't be there like 100%. So does anybody have any questions that we could answer?
I just want to reiterate, that is our innate desire to belong, the desire to be loved, the desire to be needed, and what is our purpose? And it's finding it out, it's figuring it out, and it's being connected. We have to get connected to feel whole. Thank you.
Hello. And your panel for an amazing presentation on mental health. Our attendees are not live, so we ask that you guys put your questions in either the question and answer box or the chat box for Dr. Linda Fagan and her board. Right now, I don't see any yet, but we will give them a few moments.
Okay.
Again, we want to thank you for, such a amazing presentation on something that we all should be talking about even more.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to try to see what we have a question. Okay.
No, they're just thanking us.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's thanking us.
Cool beans. And I want to thank Davey for sending us that wonderful box last night. We have our bandanas on. And I wanted to thank them. That box was absolutely fabulous.
I see a question that says, and it's coming from Lorraine Lundy in Tampa. It says, how do you know what's missing?
I see it.
May have you expound on that, Lorraine. Okay, it says, how do you know what's missing within yourself to be able to solve the problem, right? So we all know there's many things we're going through, but how do you, do any of you have any suggestions on identifying that? Great question.
Sometimes it could be something does spark it, like, I don't know, you want to know if your kid made it home safe and they don't answer their phone, that'll give me anxiety. But sometimes there's no specific reason. You just start to feel it out of nowhere. And I question myself, and whenever I do share it with my husband, I'm like, I don't know what it is, because there's nothing wrong. It's just you start to feel of this. I think it's the hormonal changes or something. Because it's definitely, it's both sometimes. Sometimes there is a situation or something that gives you the anxiety, and other times you just start to feel it. And you need to try to find a way to get out of it.
I'll tell you one thing. First and foremost, there are specific things with men and specific things with women that need to be completely evaluated before you even think it's true anxiety or depression. You need to have a good blood panel. That's one thing. Thyroid, anemia, hormones, blood sugar. Those are 4 things that can bring on anxiety. Too much caffeine. I mean, I've had people that drink 12, 15 cups of coffee a day and are having palpitations and all kinds of things, and they're like freaking out in traffic and stuff like that. And I'll say to them, well, how many cups of coffee did you have? Did you drink a power drink? Did you drink tea? Did you drink a Diet Coke? A lot of people are addicted to those kind of things now. So you have to start eliminating physically first before you can actually get down to the source of the anxiety or the depression. Get a good physical, get a good whatever, because if you're having problems with those physical things, it increases your anemia and it increases your depression. If you don't sleep good, if you're only working on 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night, if you're not getting enough sleep, that's another thing. You know, if you're stuck like Chuck at home, find a stationary bike, find something that you can watch TV and put a headset on or something. But go rule out the physical issues first before you think it's just that you're losing your mind kind of thing. And once you differentiate there, then fold over to the other part and start working on that. But a lot of those self-help books, you know, if you like to read, you'll see yourself in print. You'll say, oh my God, that's me, you know?
Thank you so much for that feedback. I think it helps a lot of us to kind of resonate, you know, with that and when what we're dealing with. We do have another question, but I did want to read a couple things from the chat box. One person said, so much of what you're saying resonates with me. Then a lot of thank yous. Davey said the box was fun and their pleasure. They hope you want to scratch off or 2. And then Sarah Bang from Huntsville said, as clubs, we also need to be mindful of the burnout in our members. You mentioned that sometimes volunteer activities can overwhelm, and sometimes it's easy for the really enthusiastic and consistent go-getters to be overburdened. And so, you know, appreciate you bringing that point up as well. And then the question in the chat box or in the Q&A is, what's your opinion regarding being around toxic people or energy vampires?
Run
fast.
Yeah, right. We talk about this continuously. We talk about negative people. We talk about people that generate being sick, being not able to get a job, this, that, and the other. We talk about it all the time. And it's like, there's just so much you can do. And you cannot, I had to learn, I could not cure everybody. I can't fix all of us. I can only help you to a certain amount. But negative people you need, and toxic people. And there is a book. It's called The Toxic Parent. I was trying to remember it before I came here today. It not only has to do with toxic parents, it has to do with toxic people. And you can see them in print too. So run, get, even if it's your best friend and you feel like you don't have any friends, trust me, they are sucking you dry.
Let me add 2 things to that, because we as women don't like to offend. So here's 2 things that you can say. I feel that my boundaries aren't respected in this relationship, and I don't want to continue seeing you again. I don't want to, here's another one. I don't want to further contact with you because please respect my decision. One more. This isn't working for me anymore. I hope you can understand. So when you don't have the words, there are things that will help you say, I'm sorry, but I just can't deal with you. And it's like the meme says, oh, train wreck, go over there.
And you have to eliminate those people, because eventually you realize that it's just, you're the one that's getting more. And it's not that you want to pull more out of somebody, you just want it balanced, like a relationship. Friendship is a relationship. It's a relationship that you work on, just like when you're married, it's a relationship. Give and take kind of thing. Just, run.
You have to be able to set those boundaries and stay firm with them, because that toxic person will hurt you. How do you get rid of a cancer? You cut it out.
Yeah.
So
See, I think cancer's out.
Well, great question and great answer. I think as Seroptimus, one of you guys even said, we try to help everybody. And one of you said, we can't do that. We can't change or help them. So we and I think Shannon, and hi Shannon, by the way, miss giving you hugs and seeing your face. But you have to take care of yourself first. And if removing those people, as you guys said, is what's going to benefit. That's great advice. We had another question that says, or following up on Sarah's comment, we also need to be aware of those members who have withdrawn and reach out to them. Sometimes we get so busy, we don't take notice of members who seem to have dropped off.
Right.
That self-care is not selfish.
right, absolutely.
Right.
We have to reach to the
Right.
shut-ins. We've got several seniors in our clubs. We've got people who like they've missed a couple of meetings, or you haven't heard from them in a while. We used to wrap them. We're all type A personalities, really. So type your A personality over to their house and go check on them. Show up with the coffee, show up with the juice, show up with a bottle of wine. Show up. They need it.
Great recommendation, Shannon. And great comment, Miss Mary Beth Keenan from Boca. And there was one more question. If another one pops up, I'll get that to you as well. But could medication, prescription medication, also affect anxiety levels or depression, mental health?
Yes. And if you have a primary care physician, and I'm only 29 and I've been in practice 30 years, but if you have a primary care physician and let's just say you're multi-pharmacy, you have like 10 things that you take, that is the responsibility of the primary care person that's taking care of you, I feel, to know the side effects of those medications. And I'm talking 7 out of 10 times, there is side effects that's causing the way you're acting, especially in the younger child, and especially in the older generation. They don't mix. And even though it doesn't say it, in the pharmaceutical kinds of things or MedGap, it still is. You have to wonder if it's not good for them, how long they've been taking it, and what's the cause that's going on right then. It's like my grandmother was in the hospital, and all they were doing is giving her something for her stomach, IV, and she's a Bible thumping little lady in her 90s, and she started using the F word with everybody that was around her, and then some. But there was nothing written in the pharmaceutical books that said that it would cause that kind of thing. But that was the only thing different that they were giving her. And finally, when they took her off of it, she came back to being herself. And that's something as simple as that. So really and truly, if you've got a primary care person that you can talk to, and women want to talk, they just don't want to, they don't want 5 minutes to buy. It's like, and you think that taking something is not working for you, admit it, admit it. And then you may have to take something natural, be taken off of some of those things too. Yeah, it happens, and it happens a lot.
Another great question and answer on that. So thank you for bringing that up and answering that, because we definitely see that in a lot of our community. At this time, I'm not seeing any further questions in the Q&A or chat. If anybody does have any last minute questions, please go ahead and post now. At this time, I'm not seeing anything. Dr. Linda Fagan, if you'd like to close out the panel with any last remarks or words. Again, we want to thank you from the whole Southern region for taking the time this morning to be one of our feature speakers.
Oh, I'm grateful that you asked me. You know, putting this panel together, it was like, I just figured it from different perspectives from different people in their lives. It would be beneficial for everybody, because I mean, what I think is the right thing to do is not always the right thing to do too. But you know, to hear it from other people in different walks is really important, and we appreciate the invite, and we hope you all have a very good day, and thank you.
All right. Bye, ladies. We will see you soon, and hopefully
Bye.
at our next event. We will now be going over to past Governor Pat McKay. And she is going to be talking to us about the nominating committee. Past Governor, all yours.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay. Thank you all. The previous session was amazing. Thank you for all of that information about taking care of ourselves. I think we as Seroptimists and volunteers are the last people to really think about ourselves, because we're always thinking about our community and the women and girls in our community too. So thank you for that. I just want to say good morning. Let me get my camera going here. Southern Region, it is so good to be at least on Zoom with you guys. I've missed you. I hope we can get face-to-face soon. As your nominating committee chair for Southern Region, I just want to remind you that there are leadership opportunities for Southern Region. Having been I am a past governor, and having served that 2 years for several years prior, obviously, on Southern Region, I just want to encourage anyone out there who might be interested in an office and being on the Southern Region board. It's such a rewarding opportunity. It is a rewarding activity. You just have no idea until you've tried it. My committee by district, District 1 is Cheryl Wilk. District 2's representative is Tracy Nickel, and District 3 has past Governor Caroline Williams as our representative on the nominating committee. We will be reaching out to you soon. We want everyone to have the opportunity to step up and run for an office. I think it's been years since we've had an actual election of not opposing, but multiple people trying to go for a particular position on the board. I think my position as going into governor-elect might have been the last, so that's been a few years, but we want people to step up. We want you to live your dreams. We have so many opportunities with the Southern Region Board, and we'd love to have everyone out there to think about it. It's such I can't say rewarding enough. It really is. One of your representatives that are on this committee within your district will be reaching out to you. I will be reaching out to you soon to encourage you to do a resume. We have a form for that. We have a form in the forms manual, 2P and 3P. Check them out. We just need some and a picture, and that's all it takes. And it's a really short form, both of them. So thank you so much for giving me this time on the agenda today. If you have any questions about a particular office, don't hesitate to ask a question of me, of one of the current officers, whatever, one of the nominating committee members in your district. Please, please, if you have those questions, let us know. We want to help you help Southern Region. Thank you. I am supposed to introduce my dear friend from Seroptimist Huntsville, Sarah Bang, who is our Public Relations Chair. Sarah?
Hello, everybody. Am I on? Oh,
Yes, ma'am. You're there in person and we can hear you.
fabulous. Thank you, Pat. Okay, I got too many windows going on, but I wanted to today, as the Public Relations Chair for Southern Region, there are slides that are given to me. Oh, I wanted to show my shirt off. Hang on, what am I doing here? It's chilly this morning in Huntsville. Seroptimist National sends us slides that they want us to share the content with you. But I went with the theme of health and hope, and I kind of went bananas with the sunflowers. So bear with me. We have a sunnier version of the, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, of Seroptimist PowerPoint. So can you see my little sunflowers? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am. We can see them.
Okay, wonderful. So the theme for the public awareness, if that dog doesn't stop barking, I'm going to have to shut the window. Whew, telework life, am I right? Okay. So the theme for the public awareness portion of this is engage supporters and increase awareness, right? Those are kind of general, but when I was thinking about engaging supporters and thinking about how much we all have been through in the last year and a half, I was really thinking about our supporters, but also our members, right? Some people we kind of need to touch back with. So before I go any further, thinking about health and hope, deep breath. It has been rough. And for everyone, I think no matter where you are in your life, what your home life situation is, what your job situation is, I can definitely say I am not the same person that kind of optimistically packed up her laptop in March of last year, just thinking, okay, I'll do my part. It'll be a couple months and then we'll get through this. I am not that same person. I've been through a lot. I think we all have. That it hasn't all been sunny, right? There's burnout, there's anxiety, and it's taken its toll on us. It's taken its toll on clubs. We've had to reconfigure, redesign, postpone, turn into virtual, really think on our toes, kind of in this moment of crisis. So be gentle with ourselves and others, be patient with ourselves and others. As individuals, but also as clubs, think of your committees. And so I myself have felt like this little wilted sunflower. I burned out really hard this summer. And it kind of just, I really retreated and I felt really tapped out. So I've had to work to say no to things, to delegate, to be patient with myself and know my limits. Because again, you can't, even the metaphor is that you can't put on someone else's oxygen mask until you put on your own, right? So before we do all that, that's the health, that's the hope, okay? With that in mind, okay, there are some big things ahead, right? Number one is the Seroptimist Dream Big campaign, and they want to reach 500,000 women and girls in the next decade. That is 4 times the current amount. That's a big, ambitious goal. And when you're kind of, when you're kind of operating in survival mode and you're just trying to keep all of your plates in the air, this huge goal being thrown at you can be a bit daunting. So we're gonna have to work together to work on that. There's also the big biennial coming up in South Korea. And then also, that wonderful work that we're doing to promote our dream programs, Dream It, Be It, Live Your Dream, highlighting our clubs, highlighting our members, recognizing our donors. All of those places also need to be kept in the air. Okay, but you're not alone, right? You're not the lone sunflower. We're all in this field together. Just bear with my sunflower metaphors here, right? But your club members, the people on your committee, the people on your southern region and your board, we are here for you. You are not out there trying to, you don't have to be out there trying to do all of this alone, come up with everything from scratch. Reach out and lean on each other, lean on me, lean on your board, lean on your committees. And then, as I said, right, clubs and committees, be mindful of your members, and sometimes don't overburden your people. For one example, so as the publicity chair for the Huntsville Club, we did a lot of stuff on social media and digital formats, but when the pandemic hit, kind of everything went digital, and suddenly all these digital activities fell to the publicity committee, and we were scrambling a little bit. So as clubs, as committee chairs, be mindful of that, because again, we all need to be patient and gentle with each other. So there are some best practices going forward, especially kind of in this new reality that we're all grappling with. One is that they say the digital thing is working. There are digital social media tools, other virtual platforms that have really, they became a necessity in the depths of the pandemic, but they have shown to be very effective. Don't give up on those forms of media, but also kind of try and, use multiple channels in case someone misses something or they're not on a certain social media platform. Really try and be diverse and widely distributed as much as you can. Here in Huntsville, we leverage a lot of local digital calendars, the community calendars. We, advertise a lot of events. That way, that's actually how I found out about the Soroptimist of Huntsville Club. But so yeah, really try and cast the net wide, just in case you don't want anyone to fall through the cracks. Also, Soroptimist SIA of the Americas, they have tons of content. I post some links at the end of this presentation. They have social media content. They have a blog. They have a monthly newsletter. And just a little reminder, if you're not on that, to sign up for that, because there's lots of things on there you don't want to miss. Email blasts, and they also have a blog. So there's content out there. You don't have to build everything from scratch. Soroptimist does provide that for you, so you don't have to make it yourself. You're like, oh, coming up with new phrases to talk about live your dream. No, we got that. Okay. The other thing is, and I know I say this every time, they want us to stay on brand, right? And so as we go forward, we really want to keep in mind this big goal for the next 10 years, right? We need to invest in the dreams of 500,000 women and girls, and do that through the medium of education, right? So if you're going to be making something, if you're going to be putting your foot forward, keep this mission at the forefront, right? Eyes on the prize. They want us to have a consistent identity, right? I think I've said it a million times. We're done with the lady. We're not doing the lady anymore. We're doing the S. Okay. So on your social media, on your print materials, you need to, if you're still using the lady, you have to switch to the S. They have created a branding toolkit where they actually tell you what color blue is the one they use. They have logos for you to download, and everything is really high quality. So if you're making an event invitation, if you're making a Facebook post, if you're going to be making a mailer or something like that, they have all these tools for you to use the high quality logos and graphics and stay in that color and stay in that theme, so that it's kind of this consistent visual throughout. So when people see the S, they think Soroptimist, they think investing in the dreams of women through education. That's what we want. Okay. To that point, we have in Southern Region set up a Squad Locker site and uploaded the Soroptimist logo, the current one. This site, it can't be used for fundraising, but we would recommend that maybe you and your clubs peruse this and maybe order some gear so that when you go out to do an activity, when you go out to volunteer, when you go out and do a service project, that you are, you're representing the team, you're all looking, consistent. I kind of say you show up and you show out, right? But there's hats, there's bags, there's hoodies, there's pants, there's polos, there's jackets, there's everything for every style. So I would encourage you to check that out. Okay, so with this in mind, with your public awareness, these two goals: engage your supporters, and I'm going to say also your members in your committees, re-engage, okay, and increase awareness, right? So number one, it's been rough. Be patient, be gentle with yourselves and others, be mindful of burnout in yourself and also in your committees, okay? With that in mind, okay, that's the health, going to the hope. We have these big goals ahead, and we need to kind of get our gears going again, okay? But to do that, you're not alone. You don't have to start from scratch. No woman is an island. There's lots of tools, lots of resources from SIA and also your fellow clubs, your committees, your board, and your Southern Region. And me, I recently had a club reach out to me that says, we're thinking about starting an Instagram account. Can you help us, show us the rope? Yes, that's what I'm here for. Absolutely. And on the next slide, I have all my contact information. So you're not alone. You don't have to start from scratch. To get ourselves gearing up for these big goals, there's resources and tools for you to connect back in and get the wheels going. And, because of that, we want you to stay on brand, stay visually consistent, get that beautiful blue S out into the world. We want to make Soroptimist a household name, okay, globally. So hopefully this is being recorded, but we can also send out these links to each of the clubs. There's a digital toolkit, which isn't just, it's not just, social media things. They have tools for Zoom. They have tools for if you wanted to do a digital auction, fundraising, all kinds of other virtual platforms, really things I didn't even think about. There's all kinds of stuff in this digital toolkit for basically any kind of digital activity. SIA has some tools and recommended sites and best practices and things for you to use. It's incredibly useful. They also have these brand standards, as I mentioned. It kind of takes the guesswork out of it. Like, where do I get this logo? It's all there. Is my blue enough? It's all there. I mentioned the Squad Locker. There's a link for that if you guys wanted to get some gear and when you step out. Coming in the new year, they are going to be including some tips, guidelines, and best practices for photos and videos. I don't know about you. I am not an expert videographer, and so I would be really grateful for some gentle nudges in the right direction there. Some chairs for publicity, some guidelines for publicity chairs. So if you're a publicity chair for your local club, they're going to be coming out with some tools and tips for us, which I'm hoping will be delightful. They're also planning on revamping their blog on their website, pulling in a lot more user-generated content. So actually reaching out to clubs around the country for us to highlight our clubs, our members, our Dream Program award recipients, that kind of thing. So there at the bottom, I'm Sarah Bang. That's my email address. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Homing Pigeon, Smoke Signal. Any way you can find to get a hold of me. I'm incredibly chatty, and I'd love to help you get the word out about your clubs. And as I said, engage and re-engage your supporters and get the awareness out about Soroptimist. So with that, I believe that's all I got. And thank you for bearing with my sunflower metaphors. With that, I hand it over to District 1 Director, Dr. Heidi Schaeffer of
Before we
the BOCA.
Miss Sarah,
Yes.
I just wanted to see before we move on, and thank you for introducing her and your amazing slide deck. And I think you and I are wearing the same Squad Locker shirt today. So all of that is fun. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions for Miss Sarah before we do move on. And so if you have any questions on public relations or anything she talked about, please go ahead and put that in the chat box or the Q&A box for us. And we will see if we have any questions. So far, I don't see anything popping up.
Okay. You got too many windows open.
Lots of windows. You do have somebody that says they love your enthusiasm, Sarah. Thank you so much. That's from Marie Kennedy. She
brought to you by coffee.
Yeah, coffee. I think they talked about that on the last panel. Coffee. All right.
All right. Thank you. Do I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Miss Sarah. We appreciate you.
All right. Am I up? I think I'm up.
You are up.
Okay.
Up.
I am Heidi Schaeffer, your District 1 Director, and today I am serving as the membership pillar person, which is my favorite pillar. I think everybody who knows me knows I love membership because, frankly, without members, we don't have clubs. We don't have anybody to do the service projects that we so care about. So I said, I'll do it. What I'm not good at, and everybody also knows this, is technology. So thank you, Michelle, in advance for moving the slide deck that I was provided by SIA. I'm basically just going to give my suggestions and realize these are suggestions and like tips that I found helpful through the years. They're not gold, and what works for me may not work for you, but I'm going to try to give you some, recommendations of how you can build your membership. So the first one says strategies for a successful 21 through 22 year. All right, we know that. Next, we'll go to the next slide. The next slide says engagement. We're going to go to the next slide. Okay, this is it, best practices. So I'm just going to kind of speak from the heart of what I think is helpful and not helpful. And also just a way to kind of think about membership. In a way, we're a business. And at the end of the day, we need customers. And in our clubs, we heard from so many speakers today, we all feel the same, that it seems like the same core people do all the work. Well, part of that is sometimes we don't like to delegate. We like to micromanage. We know we'll get it done. And part of that is we don't have enough members to go around to really share the tasks. So my goal today is hopefully you can bring in some new members, but also get the current members to feel a little less burdened by kind of sharing the wealth. And we kind of think about some of the things we do as like overwhelming and, it's kind of tedious to pack backpacks or what have you. But the truth is everybody and anybody can get involved in these types of projects, and they can even pick or choose what they want, where their assets lie. I mean, everybody's not good at everything. Like I'm terrible at technology. Instagram, Sarah, I'm going to have to call you. I have no clue. I can barely work my Facebook. But at the end of the day, we all bring something to the table, and we should recognize that. So in the spirit of membership, I like to think about the recruitment side, the new member side, and the retention side. And they're both equally important, right? So let's talk about the recruitment side. In a real year where we have the ability to get together and have events, it's much easier. Over this COVID chaos stuff and everything being done on Zoom and Gloom, because I don't really like Zoom, it's difficult. Let's just be honest. But it has some perks because there are some clubs in our region that the membership is very spread out and they really can't come to live events. So this is our chance to kind of build our brand, as Sarah would say, and get the message out, and even invite guests that normally wouldn't be able to drive 2 hours to maybe the Huntsville Club. So think about it as a little bit of a chance to kind of spread our message out. But in the real world, when we get back to normal, which will hopefully be next year, our April meeting, for sure we want to do it in Tampa. Think about how you're getting new members. And I would say, realistically, if you can, I would recommend at least twice a year to have some sort of recruitment event. It doesn't have to be a big thing. In my area, there is a club. They recruited 6 members in one night from nothing other than having a happy hour at their local bar. Now that worked for them. That doesn't work for all clubs. I know that. But getting 6 members in one night, think about what that would do for your membership numbers. And obviously, if you're a group, let's say with a lot of seniors, I know Shannon said that in Homestead, there's a good segment of seniors. I know some of my smaller clubs have a good segment of seniors. they're probably not hitting the bar. And frankly, I don't hit the bar. So that wouldn't really attract me. So how do I get these older generation of people to join our clubs? Maybe you decide, your bingo night. Maybe you guys do bingo in your area. Okay. And maybe you talk to the caller who calls out the numbers and you say, hey, can I just take the mic for a minute to talk about an upcoming event, or just to kind of promote the great work we're doing. We're having a fundraiser, or we're going to do a project for the women and girls in this area. Or can I just leave a flyer with everybody's bingo card when they buy one? Even if you have to pay, let's say $100, $200 to be the sponsor for that bingo night, why not do that? Or let's say a book club. We all like books. Most of us don't have a lot of time to read it. But let's say you have a woman author. Why can't that be something you can use to kind of intrigue new members into your world? Maybe a book that has a protagonist that's a strong woman who overcomes obstacles. That's a great subtle way of kind of recruiting for membership. So it doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of time. It takes a little creativity. And what it really takes is for you to look at your individual club, because everybody has a different style and a different age group or a different demographic they're trying to attract, and figure out what might work in your area. The other thing is, obviously, we're not able to do a lot of the service projects out in the community, but that's such a big draw. That brands you. If you're at a 5K walk, you should all be wearing your Sir Optimus t-shirts. You can put an S on your cheek. Somebody's going to ask you, what does S mean? It's your chance to talk about it. And that goes to the elevator speech concept. Every single one of us that's a member should have a 2-minute elevator speech. What would you say if somebody said, what is Sir Optimus? They're probably going to pronounce it wrong, and that's fine. But you really want to get them emboldened and excited. And that's happened to me 2 years ago when I went to Malaysia for this Sir Optimus International Conference. I was wearing a Sir Optimus shirt. I was excited about Malaysia because I like to travel. And I wanted to kind of see all these other Sir Optimists from all over the world. And I said to the Delta representative, well, we're an organization that, empowers women and girls. And we're right here. We have a chapter here in Palm Beach. We have a chapter in Fort Lauderdale. We have a chapter in Davie. And by the end, I had sort of closed her and I got her phone number and she was all pumped up. And that didn't take more than a minute and a half because frankly, there was a line behind me. So I just want you to always be prepared, because truly your best salespeople for our great clubs are your current members. If they're not happy, they're not going to speak volumes about you. I mean, it's true that if I was looking for a realtor, I'm going to call someone who's used a realtor and they give me a personal recommendation. We know that's the best word of mouth business referral there is. So why do we not think of our clubs in the same way? So get your people excited, and I promise you, they're going to want to talk about your club. So getting to our current members, obviously our job is to make them excited, want them to stick around. And we have to really think about the new members we were lucky enough to get, especially over this last 2 years of chaos. Are we doing enough for them? Are we appreciating them? Are we installing them? If you are not installing your new members, you are doing a disservice to those members. You're not making them feel like part of the team. Even your new board, when somebody steps up, we should be showing our appreciation. Even if it's a Zoom installation, it's something. And somebody said earlier, if members fall off or they're missing for a couple meetings, are we taking the time to call them up? Or in Shannon's case, she goes to their door. I know that's not practical for a lot of clubs that have members all over the place. But what does it hurt to take 5 minutes out and call somebody and say, hey, so-and-so, I noticed you haven't come to the last couple meetings. Everything okay? Is there anything I can do? We really miss you. That's going to go a long way. And that's sincere. I mean, we're not just optimists that serve others. We're supposed to be empowering ourselves in our group. So if we don't care about our members, they're going to feel that and they're going to hit the door. Also, new members. I would say to you, as soon as a member starts, assign them a task. And some people are going to say, that's crazy, Heidi. How can you assign a new member a task? They haven't even been part of the club very long. It doesn't take a lot to put school supplies in a bin and deliver them to a school if that's your project. We have a great club, the Palm Beaches, that does domestic violence stuff all the time with their local shelter. That doesn't take a lot of training. Roll up your sleeves, get involved. Believe me, they're going to feel good about that. They're going to see we're active and we're organized, but they're also going to feel like part of a team. And if they're absent, somebody's going to notice it. People want to be valued. That's just the bottom line, whether you work for a corporate organization or our nonprofit organization. So are you in communication a lot with your members? If you're not, that's kind of falling on you, and you're the reason they're possibly going to leave. And as hard as that is to kind of grasp, the truth is our members need to feel valued. And if we're not doing it, who's going to do it? All right, we're going to go to the next slide, which is, let's see what the next slide is. Foster civility. Sounds very easy, and it kind of is, right? Now, we all know we have certain members in each of our clubs that, let's say, is opinionated on some subjects, or they like to commandeer the whole meeting. And it's important we allow them to have a voice. The bottom line is we must allow everybody to have a voice, but we need to have their voices heard at the proper time. So what I recommend is when you have a business meeting, try to carve out some time either before or after, whatever works for your club, for like the social kibitzing, that kind of stuff. And then in the open section, the open business section of your agenda, which everybody should be using Robert's rules, that's where you can bring up things that haven't been discussed. And even for the things that are under discussion, if you feel you have some chatty Cathys, be fair, be consistent, allow everybody to weigh in for whatever, a 2-minute timer. You can literally pass around one of those hourglass things so that everybody feels that they're getting their chance to talk. But if you don't allow people to talk, again, why are they going to come to your meetings? Why are they going to feel that their voice matters at all? And they're just going to leave. So we want to be as welcoming as possible to our new members. And just remember, differences of opinion aren't a bad thing. They actually help you grow. So if it's a new member coming in who's more millennial and has these great ideas about social media, but your club is largely maybe the senior veteran population who have amazing excellence and experience and wisdom of their own, there's no reason we can't use both of these and grow our clubs. So I just really want you to think about being civil at all times, allowing public comment, but when it's at the right time. If you have side talk in the middle of your meetings, that's really distracting. And frankly, that's a sign of disrespect. Everybody's taking the time to come to your meetings. So let's recognize that and be mindful of the fact that they need to maybe go to work or they have other meetings right after that. So that's pretty easy. That makes common sense, but sometimes we forget that civility or a bad attitude can turn off our members and get them leaving us quicker than we'd like to have. Best practices, the next slide is club operations. Now I kind of hit a little bit on that. It's about running efficient meetings and being organized. And that starts from the top. It means if you get an email from headquarters or from your president, please open that email. Certainly we think that things like getting your dues payments in properly and on time represents, the goodness of your club and how well you're really on task. I know we're all overwhelmed. We get a ton of emails. And so for me as a district meeting district director, I should say out loud that I'm not that great because I'll just send an email. And if I think it's urgent enough, maybe I'll make a phone call. But if any of my presidents feel that they would rather receive my messages by a phone call, like I said, I don't do Instagram or any of that social messaging stuff, but I'm happy to either text you or call you if you feel that you'll respond quicker that way. But again, we are representing ourselves in the best possible form to members and people that are considering joining us. So we need to look like we're organized at all times. So run those efficient meetings, have a prepared agenda if you can email it out in advance, I encourage you to do so. And that's also a chance for you to say, hey, if you have anything you want me to add to the agenda, let me know now, or we have an open business section. Is there anything you think you're going to bring up so I can allow some time for that? It just shows that we really care about their feedback and we are open to their suggestion, honestly. So the other thing I want to point out, and I know I'm a little bit of a Debbie Downer on this, but if you're a board member or a committee head and you volunteer to take on those roles, please show up at meetings. And if you realize you really can't do it for personal reasons, other things are keeping you too tied up, then, be honest with yourselves and your club and say, you know what, maybe somebody else should take the helm. Because we really need you to show up. And if you can't show up, at minimum, let your president know you can't come and then send your report over. Every committee meeting, every committee person should be sending a report over because we're counting on you to bring this information to the rest of the membership. So just remember, members are looking at us and we'll want to see an organized organization that has purpose and that's a wise use of their time and money. And if we don't reflect that, they're going to go elsewhere with good reason. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Leadership development. Okay, leadership. It's a scary word, but honestly, it's a privilege. And believe me, I didn't want to be president of my club. And I became president very early on. I think I was there for a year and a half, and boom, Heidi, you want to do this? And I accepted because I knew it would be a challenge and it'd be a chance for me to kind of inspire others and get my feet wet, and nothing like trial by fire, right? Same thing with District 1 director. You know, I think it's a lot of responsibility, but I've definitely grown and I'm grateful for both experiences. I definitely feel proud of what I was able to accomplish. I'm not perfect, and being a leader, like somebody said earlier, is not perfection. We're going to screw up, and we just have to be willing to say, I screwed up, and I screw up all the time. So I'm just putting that out there. I apologize if I screwed up on anybody's watch. But that said, I want to be the best person I can. And part of that is growing into a leader and molding other leaders. Now, the presidents, let's be honest, at the local level, you're the captain of your ship. And that responsibility largely falls on you. But again, it's a privilege, so don't think of it as a burden. I would tell you to delegate. There's a lot of people that don't want to delegate for obvious reasons, but if you don't delegate, you're going to get burned out. And what Sarah was talking about, I don't want to see wilted sunflowers all over the place in our region. So look for those people that are willing to step up. And as a president, there's nothing wrong with you saying, you know what, you're so great at public speaking, or you're so great at numbers. I think you would be a great treasurer. I think you'd be a great public awareness chair. Or you seem to bring in members after member into our meetings and you're like recruiting them. Why don't you become our membership chair? I will tell you in Boca, for example, there's two names. I don't know if they're on, but Jen and Carol, and they routinely invite all these members to our club meetings. And then we allow them to kind of talk about the person they're bringing in. So it makes them feel good and that they're connected to somebody. And then we allow the people that they bring in to talk about themselves. And we basically welcome them with open arms. Our personal meetings at the Boca Club are so warm and welcoming that I think our percentage of transition from a guest to a member is like 100%, just from coming to a business meeting. So that welcoming environment goes a long way, but it takes a member who's willing to kind of lead that charge and bring them to our meetings. So I'm grateful for that. But I also need those members assigned a task, right, when they sign up, as we talked about before. And I need presidents or anybody in the club who is even a board of directors saying, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to be phasing out. How about you shadow me and learn a little bit about the role of fundraising chair? I mean, the truth is we need to bring in the next crop of women to lead the charge here. And the truth is it's up to us to do it, or else we can only blame ourselves if we get burned out. Now, one of my pet peeves, and we all do it, is we complain. Oh, this job is terrible. Who wants to take it next year? Who wants to be president next year? Who wants to be secretary next year? Who's going to want to join if that's your tone? I mean, that doesn't even make it sound attractive. We're all guilty of it. We all have our terrible days. But remember, we are being looked at. We are the best role models for our club and for our leadership. So I encourage you to stay positive as much as possible. Put on a poker face, even if it's tough, and really recognize the assets of the people that you have joining so that we can assign them a task. I would even say a brand new member, unless you have a rule against it in your particular bylaws prohibits it, I would give them the role of recording secretary. That allows them to be at every meeting, encourages them to be at every meeting, and simply take the minutes. I mean, that's what our Boca Club demands. I don't know, other clubs might have additional responsibilities for that position, but how hard is that? And believe me, they're going to feel part of the team right away. And getting back to membership, it just occurred to me that I'm talking about her and she a lot. There's a lot of males out there that are willing to step up. And most of us have partners. Many of them are male. So I would encourage you to say, hey, you support me. You support what we do. You know the great work Sir Optimus does. How about becoming a member? It doesn't mean they have to be part of every event and roll up their sleeves every single time. But why are we limiting why are we cutting off 50% of our population when truthfully, everybody should be supporting the rights of women and girls? So I just want you to know that the person that holds the position of leadership, you're a role model, you're great, you're doing the best job you possibly can. And you want to exemplify that for the people that might be looking up saying, wow, I can't believe this is the president. I don't ever think I'll be able to do that. You need to build that confidence in that next generation to get there. Have a buddy system, maybe partner an older person with a younger person that's been around in the club longer. There's definitely ways that you can make this work. I'm a big fan of having them shadow you and seeing some of the things that you do so that they don't feel it's so overwhelming. And also put your ego aside. If you're a part of a big club or a club that does a lot, vice presidents or co-presidents, there's no reason you guys can't bring in more people to help you. You don't have to do it all alone. Like Sarah said, you're never alone. But I certainly suggest that if you feel there's too much weight on your shoulders, invite somebody else in to kind of handle different things. There's no reason that anybody should feel the whole thing is falling on them. Okay, let's go to the next slide, which is mission focused activities. This one's pretty obvious. It basically says, people join us because they like the mission, they like the service. We know the two things that keep people in Sir Optimus or get them to join Sir Optimus is fellowship and service. So let's brag about these two programs, Live Your Dream and Dream It Be It. Not only is it a great way to engage our members and keep them feeling like they're involved in something important, but it's a way to recruit new members. So feel free to brand yourself that day that you're doing your Live Your Dream. Talk to the guidance counselor at the school. Say, hey, not only are we willing to give scholarships to your incoming college folks that are single moms, but hey, we're also a great organization that they can get their credits at, because most people in high school, college, and even graduate levels, they're looking for a certain number of community hours. Why are they not doing it with our clubs? We know that if they give us their time, they're going to eventually join us as members. All right, we're getting close to the end, I promise you. All right, the next slide is basically a summary of what I just said. So we're going to skip that. And then we're going to get to the last real slide. And this is the Sir Optimus Diamond campaign. Really has to do with the numbers and statistics more for member retention. And also they expect us to have 15 new clubs across the whole SIA. It's a 4-year plan. We're in that 4th stage of it. And I think we're doing really well considering COVID has kind of, beat us down a little bit. But I have a lot of hope for the future. I'm happy with the progress we have. I want to thank every single president who's held their clubs together. You are the glue. And I know it's a lot of responsibility, but it's also, like I said, a chance at beautiful leadership. And I'm so privileged to work with every single one of you. So keep up the great work. If you want to go to their website, like Sarah said, they have all these tools and recommendations on recruitment and retention. And then on the last page, Michelle, but we're at the end here, there's a number for SIA and a contact, but I would put my number out there, 786-303-9492. If you want to bounce an idea off me, I'm more than happy to take your call at any time. If you want me to come visit and pump you up, I'm excited to build membership and to encourage our current members to stay the course. I know it's been rough. I'm not in denial of that, but just remember why we all joined. We're here for a bigger purpose. If we're not doing service for others, then really, why are we here? So I just really want you to feel emboldened and empowered. And I know that I ran a little bit long, but I felt so excited about membership. We do have an opening for membership chair, like Michelle said, so consider stepping up. I mean, there's some clubs that they have no problem getting members. Think about sharing your pearls. That's really what it's about. And kind of keeping track of the numbers in each club. It's not a big job and we really need help. But at the end of the day, I want to thank everybody for your attention. Please come back promptly at 12:45 if you want to come a little earlier, because you have to get into the waiting room. I'm happy to have that. But we have a great hope speaker. Our keynote is after lunch. Danielle Zimmerman will talk about fundraising. I know we're all having struggles during the COVID crisis to do that. So please come back. I really hope everybody has a great hour lunch, and I look forward to seeing you promptly at 12:45. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Danielle Zimmerman. I am the secretary for the Southern Region Board. Governor Michelle asked me to step in for fundraising chair to do this presentation. I'm going to kind of go off of a little bit of how Sarah Bang did. You know, SIA has all of these slides for us to do and certain things that they want us to put out there, but I might go off script a little bit, just like Dr. Heidi and Sarah as well. So philanthropy, that's basically why we're all here. We're here to raise some money and give it out to people that need it, right? SIA wants to talk about our upcoming initiatives for 2021, 2022. The current and upcoming resources and support for the clubs that is coming out in the next couple of months, and looking outside of our clubs and members and the importance of supporting our global impact. Mama. Hold on, baby. Mommy. Can you give me a couple minutes, please? Thank you. So as we kick off our big goal, it's what will it take for success? The slide itself says teamwork. However, we all really know that it's money that makes the world go round, and definitely makes the world go round for our clubs and region. All of our members are so dedicated to this mission, and across the Federation. And when we work together, collaborate, communicate, and support each other, this is how we get the most positive outcomes. We can serve more women and girls through our dream programs, and this means supporting more Live Your Dream Awards and helping more with Dream It Be It programs as well. So collectively raising the funds to reach this new big goal of, for 2021, 2031, invest in the dreams over 500,000 women and girls. So they really upped the ante 4 times, as Sarah said, to really make this collective impact. So together we can ensure the organization has the resources it needs to impact in our today and also in our future. So how do we do this? How can we reach more women and girls? Well, money, really, that's how we're going to do it. Also, it goes hand in hand with our public relations and our membership. The 4 pillars are considered the 4 pillars because they all work together. You can't have one without the other. You can have the members, but not have the money, or you can have money, all the money in the world, but if you don't have the members to do the work, it's never going to get done. There are lots of different toolkits that are coming out from SIA, for the 100th anniversary. It's a big deal. It's also the 50th anniversary for the Live Your Dream programs. They say that they're going to have, by the end of October, the 100th anniversary fundraising toolkit, which will include resources that you need to raise money for the 100th anniversary, using it as a leverage. Like, it's our 100th anniversary, maybe you can donate $100 towards this. In January of 2022, there'll be more resources for the regions and for the fundraising efforts. Excuse me, mom moment. Okay, give me 5 minutes, okay? Go get a cookie. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, in January 2022, the SIA is coming up with new fundraising efforts for all of our clubs. How to set up Facebook fundraising, corporate partnership resources, different things like that. If there's one thing that I've learned in the past 1.5 to 2 years from this pandemic, out of all of the negativity, is that when people are pushed out of their comfort zone, we are really put into a creative space. And I learned that people are so creative, and different things that they have come up with, including our clubs, our own clubs here, to do different fundraisers. Our own club did a virtual passion for purses. We raffled off a purse like that. No one really met up. It was all mailed out. Everything was done online. So it's really now coming up with a new way of getting your physical world and your virtual world and the digital world and making them together and the best options. All of the technology that we have now for virtual auctions, virtual fundraisers that can be done, like online ticket sales, things like that are so important now that we can still do it with our physical, that we can still do it with our physical events, like our Blue Jean Ball coming up. We just started to kick off again. And, you know, we're going to start using those digital platforms for online ticket sales. We don't really need to do physical tickets anymore. Or instead of having little banners that we're going to be, or little cards that we pass out, postcards, you use QR codes that take you directly to a link for online ticket sales. It's really finding the balance between these two worlds and blending them together. And I think that, as Governor Michelle was saying, you know, as soon as we learn this Zoom, that we're going to be able to meet back in person again. Yes, she's probably correct. However, I think that this is not going anywhere. And the things that we can do with it, fundraising, membership, public relations, all of it, we can really take it to another level that we never have before. So now that we have all of these resources available to our clubs, you know, how are we going to use it? Well, SIA is really pushing for this 2021-2031 big goal. And this is no small feat. This is a big deal that they're looking to do. So they are asking, you know, members to contribute $100 to support the local or the global dream programs in honor of the 100th anniversary, or a $50 donation in honor of the 50th anniversary of the Live Your Dream Award. You can give it on behalf of another member or someone else. I think it's great to ask our own members to step up and to give donations like this. But I also think that it's time to really start to hit up your community. We're really looking into, I think communities are really looking to get back into face-to-face things and really branch out and get their names out there again. And as much as I want to, you know, have all of our club members donate $100, that's the easiest, you know, $3,000 that we can make. No big deal. It's really bringing into the community and getting our name out there again. And that's how they all intertwine with public relations as well. So the key message on this is, you know, supporting the 2021-2031 by making a gift to the annual fund. This is what they're talking about for membership, doing this. You know, this could be through the club giving the 10% that members or the club should give, founders pennies, individual gifts. You know, this can include either a one-time thing, or you can do the Laurel Society. I know a lot of people do. They give monthly automatic for Laurel Society, and it puts them to the next levels, or the Stargazers. So the annual support, whether it's designated for the Live Your Dreams, Dream It, Be It, or any other kind of gift, is put right to work in the immediate needs of women and girls throughout the dream programs. So they're really pushing for us to do it, but in hindsight, I would strongly suggest to not necessarily say no to your members, but really get out to your community. It's time. I think that I know South Florida, where we're at in Homestead, businesses are booming. We're doing really well with all of that. And we've started to see members and community members start to reach out to get their name out there and help out everyone as well. So I'd really like to push that. And the way that you do that is you talk about all the things that we also did during the pandemic as far as fundraising or helping out. Like, we didn't stop our scholarships, and I know a lot of you didn't either. We continued to give our annual turkeys and our Christmas gifts to those kids. Just because we weren't meeting, didn't mean that we weren't going to continue to do those things. And I think that once the community sees what you do and continue to do throughout this time, that they're going to want to help. And so you pull on the heartstrings and you say, these kids never get Christmas presents. This is the only thing they got. And the only thing that they asked for was a pair of shoes. And that is a true story. We had a kid ask for a pair of shoes for Christmas, which absolutely broke our heart. So the kid not only got shoes, but also a gift as well. So you pull on the heartstrings of your community members, and they want to give, and they want to put their names out there, and they want to help. And everyone is really looking into getting back out there and face to face. And it now is the time. So the support for the Dream Big campaign, which provides critical funds for the expansion, delivery, and sustainability of our programs. This is all for the future. It's important for our clubs and regions and members to recognize the importance of the annual support and support for the Dream Big campaign, which I believe is being touched on next by our next speaker. So, we talked about the 2021, 2031 big goal, the different tools. As soon as those toolkits are available on the website, I will send them out. And I know that the January 2022 one where they talk about the Facebook fundraising, that's huge. That's going to be a very awesome toolkit to utilize, especially with the ever-changing ways of Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. And I'm sure there's going to be a next new thing next year coming out, but really being able to utilize those programs and as well using the digital world to really help us get some money so we can continue to help all of these women and girls that really need it. So if you have any questions, I'm not necessarily the region fundraising chair, but we are passionate about, making money. So if you have any questions, there's all of my info, or you can also email the fund development staff at development@stroptimus.org. And that is all. I'm going to introduce or if there's any other questions before I introduce our next speaker, Marie Kennedy.
I do not see any questions that have popped up, Miss Danielle. So let's see. I don't know where Marie, oh, there she is. Okay.
So our next speaker is past governor of the North Atlantic region and current president of SI Stewart and committee member chair of the Dream Big campaign, Marie Kennedy. Let me stop sharing me.
Here. There we go. Okay. Hi, Danielle. You did a great job.
Thank you. A little out of practice.
Great lead into this presentation. All right. Michelle is going to put up the slides for this presentation. Right, Michelle? We there?
Yes, ma'am. Give me one moment. I'm closing out a few things that were in my background.
While we're waiting, just let me say, I don't know if you can see the scarf that I have on. This is the beautiful 100th anniversary scarf that you can get from headquarters. And it's really just spectacular. Okay, so this is all about the Dream Big campaign. And Danielle did a great job of laying the groundwork for this presentation. So happy 100th anniversary to all of us, and welcome to the launch of our 2021-2031 Big Goal. And I'm very honored that I was asked to do this presentation for our Southern region. And I'm here today to share in our excitement about the fact of our 100 years of service to our local and global communities, but also to be together as we launch our new venture. And Dr. Garrett, we will answer that question, I think, as we go along about donating. So the next slide. We're embarking on our second century of investing in dreams and our big goal of empowering 500,000 women through our educational dream programs. Next slide. I believe that one of the reasons that Seroptimist has reached this 100-year milestone is because we have embraced changes that have kept us relevant as times have changed. Next slide. So we are launching our Big Dream campaign with a goal of raising $15 million in honor of our past and to provide for our future. It truly is an exciting time for us. So, next slide. So when people start new ventures, they usually want to be able to answer 3 very important questions, especially when they're talking to people who are potential investors. Why this? Why now? And why us? So let's begin. Next slide. Why this? Well, we all know the impact that a Live Your Dream Award can make. We see it every year in the emotions and thanks expressed by our recipients. We know that it makes a difference in their lives and the ripple effects that go on for years as these women continue to support their families and others in their communities. Some even become seroptimists. Next slide. We experience the importance of the Dream It Be It program at a critical time in a girl's life. They tell us how much they value the mentoring that they receive. Next slide. As members, we feel a deep connection to these programs as well. We see it in the eyes of the young girls as they realize that their dreams are achievable, that they can excel, that there are people who care for them in their communities. We're proud to see our Live Your Dream honorees change from victims of their circumstances to independent, empowered, successful women. We treasure the gift that we're given to help change lives for the better, and we're happy to provide that support, financial and emotional, to them as they travel along the road to accomplishing their goals. Next slide. So why now? It is time to honor our bright past and invest in our brilliant future. Our data shows that 22 million women and girls in the countries we serve could benefit from our programs, with many millions more around the world. We must step up our game to reach 500,000 women and girls in the next 10 years. Too many women and girls need our help, and they can't wait. The world needs these women and girls living to their full potential. We need their ideas, and we need their energy. And we need to modernize our practices and technology and expand our partnerships in these next 10 years so that we can continue to ensure that we reach many more millions in the following decades. Just as Danielle said, our partnerships are in our communities. Next slide. Why us? Well, we have 100 years of experience doing this work. We have 30,000 people in 20 countries bringing our dream programs to women and girls who face obstacles to achieving their dreams. Our Live Your Dream program is celebrating its 50th anniversary, as Danielle said. We know what makes it work because we have seen the results with our own eyes. We have improved it through the years to make it more effective. Although Dream It Be It is only 6 years old, we have already reached over 75,000 girls. And the feedback we receive is how valuable the mentoring, career exploration, and tools to overcome setbacks are as they navigate their educational paths. And those educational paths are, more often than not, ones that they never dreamed they would be taking. Next slide. By now, You probably have another question to add to our whys, and that is how. How will we accomplish the important work of our big goal? The answer is by working together across our entire federation to raise the financial support needed to keep the promises made in our big goal. We decided on our big goal together. You remember in the Federation Convention in Orlando in 2016, we talked about this. And by working together, we will accomplish this. It's our Big Dream campaign, and we'll use the proven power of collective impact to succeed. Next slide. Please explore our Dream Big campaign website. In addition to the case for support, you will find other resources to help you understand how the funds donated to the campaign will be invested. And the website can be found. I will drop the link into the chat box when we're finished. And that's the website to see where the tools are. Next slide. The Dream Big campaign case for support, which can be found on the Dream Big campaign website, provides wonderful messages for why we do the work we do and why it is important that we quadruple our impact over the next 10 years. Next slide. The Dream Big campaign goals represent areas of investment, program delivery, program expansion, and program sustainability to support our big goal. Under each area of investment are high-level projects that will be funded as funds are received through the campaign. Next slide. We expect that you are going to have questions. In anticipation, you will find frequently asked questions on the website. These questions were developed by asking early donors and the members of the fundraising working groups what we can expect to hear from our members. It is important that you know that we are willing to hear your questions and share why this campaign is so important. For example, next slide. One of the frequently asked questions is, how will donating to the Dream Big campaign positively impact my community, my club, and me as a member? The impact of this campaign will be seen over a period of 10 years, coinciding with our big goal, and includes financial support for clubs. For example, more and expanded club grants, leadership development and training for volunteers, increased visibility of our programs leading to new opportunities to engage community members in our big goal, increased resources to carry out the DREAM programs. For example, up-to-date technology, greater efficiencies for tracking and reporting our impact. As our clubs are supported, clubs will experience greater program success, especially with our Dream It, Be It program, and will help us reach our target of 500,000 women and girls. Next slide. Please consider giving to the Dream Big campaign. Giving is easy. You can make a one-time, an annual, or a monthly gift, as Danielle said. This can be done online, or you can do it by mail using the pledge donation form. There is also an option to make a pledge over 2 to 3 years. All gifts will be recognized through the Laurel Society, along with special campaign recognition. And that donate link can be found on the website at dreambig.seroptimus.org/donate. Next slide. If you still have questions, please contact Dream Big Campaign U.S. Country Manager Susan Gilby at gilsky10@gmail.com. Her email address is there. Or the Dream Big Campaign Chair, Diane Thompson, with whom I served as governor, and her email address is there as well. And if you have any questions, you also can contact me. And my email address is maksorop@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And if there's a question that I don't have an answer for, believe me, I will help us find that answer. So at this point, I am finished with my presentation. I hope you found it informative. And I'd like to introduce our next speaker, and that is our Governor-elect, Kacie Blanton, who is going to lead us through programs. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, past Governor of Atlantic Region, Marie. We appreciate that presentation, and I believe Kacie Blanton is joining us now.
Hello?
We can hear you, Miss Kacie. We just can't see you yet.
I see that. I unmuted, but I didn't stop. I didn't stop my. Hi, everybody. How are you? Uh-oh. Where did I go? Hello?
Hello.
Oh, good. That was my virus scanner. Hi, everybody. How are you today? Thank you, Marie, for your introduction. Today, I'm going to talk to you about programs. Everything's about the programs. Let's see if we can get this going. Yep. Sorry, hold on a second. For some reason, I can't do a slideshow because things are in my way. Oh, the joy. Okay. We're there, right?
Yes, we see your PowerPoint.
Okay, terrific.
Which is not.
Now, has anybody heard this before? What the big goal is? I bet you've heard it a lot today. Investing in dreams of 500,000 women and girls. And you know, we do that partially through our dream programs, but we have a new third program that is going to help us get there even faster. Now, let's start off though about talking about what we mean by education. And that's basically providing access to formal schooling, knowledge, information, and resources that lead to economic empowerment. Okay. And of course, you know our dream programs. So I'm not going to go over, discuss them that much now, but we have a third one. I'd like to call it a third program, but it's the Big Goal Accelerator projects. These are all the things that clubs, some of the things clubs have been doing all along can actually be counted towards the big goal. And I'm going to go over what the criteria is today for that to happen. A lot of you have been doing things in your community, and they can count, and I'm going to show you. There's 5 things that the program must have for it to count towards the big goal. Work only with women and girls facing obstacles. Provide access to education. lead to economic empowerment, be a Seroptibus managed project. You can't just contribute to another club that's doing something. It has to be part of your club's activities, and be reported through the official reporting link. And I'll give you that in a little bit. Now, here are some ideas for big goal accelerator projects. Besides doing the Live You Dream and the Dream It Be It, you can help people along the way without being within those formal settings. If you know of a girl that needs help with paying for her entrance exams for college, if you would like to help a group of girls actually fill out their college preparation, their college applications, those of us who have had kids in college know how difficult that can be. You know, that would be an easy project for you to gather some girls together in your community to do. What if someone just needs transportation to school? You can provide that transportation money for that girl or that woman. Maybe they don't have internet access. You can provide a laptop. You can provide the monthly fee for the internet. Or what if they've gotten certified in something like cosmetology, for example, and they need fees to pay for their license? That counts. Those type of things count. You also can give out other scholarships aside from the Live Your Dream scholarship, and they can be for advanced degrees now too. If someone's going to go for a master's degree or for a PhD, that can also be helpful. Now I decided to put a little plug in here for the Ruby Lee Minor Memorial Fund, which is a fund of Southern Region, and we provide applicants that qualify with this interest-free loans for their advanced degrees. Now, I need to check with SIA if this would be, if we'll be able to count this, but it seems to meet the criteria. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to use the Ruby Lee Minor too. And I do want to add that to Joanne Taft is looking for 2 people to also be on their committee. And basically what the committee does is they look at the scholarships and approve or disapprove the funding for those students. And also in need of 2, so they're in need of 2 more board members. And I do want to thank Lucy Lueg too. She has been doing this for 2 years beyond what she signed up for. And that's really a wonderful thing, Lucy, thank you. Now this is, at one point I had asked the presidents to let me know different programs that they're doing outside of the DREAM programs. And this one is outstanding. And I wanted to share it as an example of what you could use, the type of thing you can do for the Accelerator program. This is a case study from Music City, Nashville. Most clubs take on involved with women in their local community, but this project illustrates how significant a project can be. SI Music City in Nashville has thought out of the box on this one. I'm going to read the email I got from Nancy Lowe's, the president of SI Music City, Nashville. This program is called Lunch for Girls. It's a program their club started in Benin, Africa. Club member and current Vice President Aurora Daniels had a trusted acquaintance who works as a principal at a school in Benin. Most of the girls enrolled in this school live in extreme poverty, and many are orphans. Lunch for Girls provides these girls with midday meal during school. Since we started the program, we try to send $700 to $1,000 each year out of the budget. A much higher percentage of girls are staying and graduating from school. Prior to Lunch for Girls, many were begging for food or prostituting themselves and becoming pregnant, then dropping out of school. Some of the girls who have graduated and benefited from our program are now acting as mentors for the younger girls. That to me is pretty amazing. It does show it's for women and girls only. It clearly removes a huge obstacle. I mean, hunger is, if you look at, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food is the one of the number one needs for anybody to have. So getting rid of that one stumbling block for them made a huge difference to these girls. Now, we all have women in our own community with obstacles, and those are the things that we need to address for them. Now, this is one of the things to keep in mind. When you submit to SIA the name of a woman or girl that you have helped that you feel meet the criteria for the Accelerator program, you can only count one woman or girl once. So if a girl was in your Dream It Be It program, and then she went on for Live Your Dream Award, she only counts once. Just one person counts once. That's an important aspect to keep in mind. So how are we going to increase our impact? Well, obviously, more time and more money, more resources always helps. But we can try to increase the number of girls, women and girls that we do touch. When you talk about the Live Your Dream program, there was a survey done in SIA last year or the year before, and they surveyed the Live Your Dream Award winners after they've received the award, and see how they feel after a year or so after they've started to go back to school, and try to measure the impact that they've had. The sweet spot for the award is $1,000. Those who had $500 did not feel as well, didn't have as high a satisfaction rate as those that received $1,000, but those who received more than $1,000 still felt the same way as those with $1,000. So think about it. If you have a $5,000 Live Your Dream Award, why not do 5 $1,000 awards? That will increase the number of women that you've touched. You can also look with the Dream It Be It program of how you can increase the number of girls that are served, of course. Can you think of ways to increase the number of girls in your Dream It Be It program? It could be through fundraising, and it could be through public awareness. If you have other kind of awards that you give out, I know a lot of people do the Violet Richardson Award, and that is to give, it's not a scholarship, but give an award to a girl that has done a lot of volunteerism in your community. Is there another criteria you can add to that award? Maybe they do have someone that has an obstacle plus the volunteerism may be a better add to the criteria that would allow it to be counted in the Accelerator program. Does anybody have any questions about the Accelerator program? Because I'm going to move on to awards now.
There was one question that came up. They wanted to know if childcare support qualifies.
I believe it would. Now that's the other thing. I believe it would, but SIA has to believe it would too. Once you put the person's name into submitted to SIA, they will determine whether it counts or not. But in my opinion, that would count. Yes.
Thank you, Governor-elect Kathy. I don't see any other questions. I will hold them for a pause. When you, if you pause in a few, we'll see if there's additional ones.
I'll move on to club grants are back. Did you know that you can apply for a club grant for up to $3,000 to be used for your projects that contribute to the big goal? It must be used for a Seraphim-based project, just like the Accelerator projects. And you can use it for certain things. There's certain criteria for that also. You can't use it for a speaker at a program, but you can use it to do some publicity, to pay for flyers or that type of thing. So there's quite a few things you can use it for. The applications are due by March 1st. And there's also another kind, there's also a disaster relief grant up to $5,000, but that's for more, if a tsunami or bad hurricane, but those are things that would be available if you did run into anything that would meet that criteria too. Now, a lot of people told you a lot of different websites to go to today. Did you remember them all? Probably not. So we're going to be adding links within the next month to our website, which is seraptimissr.org, SR for Southern Region, obviously. And so I'm going to get with Sarah and Heidi and everybody else that gave you out information today. We'll put it into, we'll include the what counts information for what the Accelerator program and for the grant criteria. And we'll also put in an online application for the Ruby Lee Minor Fund. And it'll all be on that website under the resource link. Because you get an email, it's got a link, and then you lose the email. That's what I do. I don't know about you, but that's what I do.
Kathy, we did have a question. If you know
Sure.
the reporting criteria for the Big Goal project.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to send you a link to. There's a portal that you need to submit through, and there's also a place that has the criteria, which I gave you, which was the 5. Let me go back up. Yeah. Oh, it's not good, but I'll read out loud. It's to work only with women and girls facing obstacles, provide access to education, but it also can lead to economic empowerment, be Seroptimus managed project, and report through the official link. But as I said, they're also counting other things, that anything that would take away, would remove an obstacle for a woman to get an education. It's basically what the type of thing that you should start looking at. And I says, once you submit it through the portal, it will be reviewed by SAA and they will decide if it's counts or not. But from what I've gone to their Zoom meetings about the big goal, and from what the types of things that I showed you that would count, and including probably the daycare would be a possibility too. It can't hurt to submit it. It can't hurt to help that woman, no matter whether it becomes part of the big goal or not, because that's what we're here for. If you have any questions, you certainly can contact me about that. But it's, again, I'm going to put the criteria on our Seroptimus Southern Region website so that people can go back and look at that too, along with my contact information. Any other questions?
No, ma'am, those were the only ones I saw at this time.
Okay. And there's also program resources on seroptimus.org. And I will put a link, that link will also go there too. I will try to put a link specifically to the program resources. And we could probably put a link to some of the things Sarah had mentioned in terms of the toolkit, so that you'll have one place you can go to get all the information that we talked about today. Okay. So we got to reach that big goal. That's what you've heard about all day today. So I guess the only thing I can say is let's do it. Any more questions? Thank you, everybody. I'd now like to introduce our keynote speaker. Her name is Victoria Tomas, and she's our Hope speaker. You can live your dream, women in construction. Victoria is with the Moss Department of Construction Management, the College of Engineering and Computing for Florida International University. Welcome, Victoria. We'll get you up and running.
Hello, everyone. I apologize. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. Welcome to the world of Zoom, right?
We've had them all day, Victoria. It's okay.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to bring out our PowerPoint here. Here we go. All righty. All right, so, and let me see. Give me 1 second. All righty. So I'm kind of hiding upstairs for my 6-year-old granddaughter because she's all excited about mommy being on Saturday on a call. So welcome everyone. My name is Victoria Tomas. I am the Senior Project Manager with the Florida International Construction Trade Certificate Program. We are housed out of the Moss School of Engineering here in Miami, Florida. Our program is actually, living the dream for a lot of folks, because we are a community-based project that is completely at no cost to all of our participants. We started our program with seed funding from the Moss Construction. From Lennar Construction in 2018. And we started our program with 32 individuals at a local shelter. And we, as of yesterday, we started our 8th cohort with 145 students. So we have grown way, way beyond our dreams. We love what we do. We have a passionate group of individuals helping our community get skills needed in order to obtain better paying jobs in the construction field. So that was a mouthful. Let's see, here we go. We basically have in all of the pictures that you're going to see in my PowerPoint are actual students of ours. These are not models, these are folks that have taken our program, and we really enjoy taking their pictures because it's what they're doing. The program introduces the students to basic construction trades, which are aligned with industry needs and standards. If you come down south and you come to Miami, we have so much construction going on that it's unreal. So we are doing the right training at the right time because the demand is extremely high. We started with a 14-week programs. We currently run a pre-apprenticeship program in English, and we also teach in Spanish. I'm going to interrupt here and say that we started the first program. In the picture, you'll see, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 ladies. So the ratio was very low of women involvement in construction. My goal is to reach out to as many young ladies and as many women as possible and involve them in construction. It has notoriously been a non-traditional career path for women. But, you know, speaking to you as a woman who has worked in construction all her life and has raised 4 kids, and I absolutely love what I do. A lot of people have the misconception that construction is all about getting a shovel and putting on a hard hat. There's a lot of career paths for young ladies in construction that is completely different than from that description I just gave. We have safety, we have project management, project supervision. There's all kinds of career paths that they can get involved with. We reach out to those students that are not traditionally college bound, mainly because they're not ready for it. A lot of my students become involved in this program, and after 6 months, they tell me, Ms. Vicky, I like to now go ahead and you know, get involved and go to college or you know, register at the university for a construction management program. So we're kind of serving like a non assigned recruiting station for the construction management or the other 4-year degrees for the college. Ours are all certificates earned, and these certificates are nationally recognized. They're transferable. We work with the National Center for Construction Education and Research. We give our students their basic blue card, their OSHA 30. We're actually also giving them an OSHA 3-hour fall protection class. We teach them how to operate a forklift, and then they can choose from a different set of career paths, be it electrical, carpentry, plumbing, sprinkler fitting, panel installation, construction craft worker, or a heavy equipment operator. All of these trades are pre-apprenticeship designated by the Florida Department of Education. And we also provide them with a Florida International University Completion Certificate. Oops, sorry. So what do they learn? They basically, in the core curriculum, they're going to learn their basic safety, the introduction to math, construction math, hand tools, power tools, construction drawings. In our communications and employability skills, we will teach them how to communicate properly, be it in a job interview or at a job site or even with others. We also teach them how to write a resume properly, how to conduct themselves during that resume, what to wear, what to say, what not to say, which is sometimes more important. So that is all those soft skills, those very much needed soft skills take place during that core curriculum certification. And then they get to choose, like I said, either electrical, All of our classes, these are young women. And we have students in our program that either just came out of high school or moms that are trying to get better pay, or retired women who want to learn the skills so they can mentor other young ladies. Our program is very diverse in nature, just like South Florida is as a whole. The particular two women in this picture come to mind because the young lady on the left is a single mom with 3 kids. And through this program, she was able not only to get a better job, she went back to school. She's currently doing her construction management degree, but then she encouraged her daughter, if mom could do this, then you could do this. And her daughter is now finishing high school and getting ready to go to college. In the carpentry class, we do a lot of hands-on in all of our classes. It's not just lecturing and exams. You do have to have 70 to plus. All of these bullet points are actually exams that they take during the process of the program. We have hands-on for all of our trades. Like I said before, when we started this program, in 2018, I would literally have to beg the construction companies in the area to give an opportunity to our students. And let me say that we serve a very large community. We serve underemployed, unemployed, returning citizens, returning veterans. We go to shelters of women that have been victims of domestic abuse. We serve the homeless. So within that realm, we do serve a large community. We're starting our newest classes that we're starting our sprinkler fitting and the photovoltaic or solar panel installation. Just yesterday I had a meeting, and the gentleman has a construction company, and he told me that he would hire all of the 26 students that are currently having class taking this particular certification. And we're going to be starting the heavy equipment operation class. I particularly like this picture because I want women, again, to be in non-traditional trades, and heavy equipment is one of those. At the end of our program, we give our students a graduation ceremony, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to those. Post-COVID, we were not able to do that recently. We invite them and their family members, and we celebrate their accomplishments because they are also our accomplishments. Classes are ongoing. We just started a cohort, and we'll start some more. We do not have one fixed location for our classes. We take our classes to the community. So if you're familiar with Florida, it is, with Miami, it is huge. So if you live in Homestead, you're not going to go to class down by where the university is. So we bring the class to Homestead. We just opened in Homestead, as a matter of fact, and the classes got filled within a 2-week period of time. We're working on a grant from the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. And basically what that does is it allows us to give the students these trainings completely for free. Like I said, I've spent a long time. I wanted to stop the share. Hold on a second. Michelle, you want to help out here? I don't want to share anymore. There we go. Here we go. All right. So we wanted to do non-traditional career paths all along because as from personal experience, it's something that I have been very successful at in a world of construction where women don't normally go into before. Now they do. Now we have, even in the School of Engineering and Construction Management, and we have a lot more women signing in. It's a fun world. It's a creative process that, to me, I have been able to live this dream where I can actually start a project from the ground up and see it come to fruition. It's been an awesome experience. It's been a life-changing process for me. I actually started out in accounting, and I'm very happy I went into education. I did my master's degree to go into education. late in life. That was about 11 years ago. And then I had a career change where I went into education, but still within construction. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to say other than, if there's any way that we can serve the young ladies. Our program is not completely online right now because the NCCR requires that you have hands-on activities for the program. We are in a hybrid mode, whereas one day on Zoom and one day in person at the different locations. At this point, I don't have much else to say. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for this amazing presentation. I've been getting some text messages. We see some things in the chat box as well. One of the questions that came through said, can someone who is not a US citizen be admitted to this program?
Okay, yes, and here is the but, because there's always a but, right? So if you have a working permit with the current grant that I'm teaching, you can be part of that one. I have an additional program that teaches the same curriculum that does not have those specific requirements. That is a 14-week program. The program is here in Miami. So, good question, Yvonne. So the entrance criteria is you have to be 18 years or about to be 18 years of age to be part of the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity grant. That's the 6-month grant. The 14-week grant is has a little bit more leeway on what we can do, because again, we're not working with federal funding on that. We're working with a private gift on that one. I don't have it fully online yet because I need for the students to be able to use a saw, to teach them how to use a saw, to actually get their hands on it, to cut wood, to bend pipe for electricity, to work with electrical conduits. So it requires a hand-on portion. I think I saw another question that I missed while I was talking. Okay, so I am trying to move north. My current grant constrains me to Dade County. I will try, I have a grant at my desk that I need to work on that will give me more of a leadway to work across the county lines. That I'm aware of, like our program, in answer to the question whether in Palm Beach there's a program like this or not. No, not like mine. I'm very proud of our design and I'm very proud of what we do. So we don't have it just yet. But I am working on moving to Broward and to Palm Beach. The kids out of foster care. Oh my God, that is like my next to-do list. I'm definitely focused on reaching out to them because that is the one population that I have not been able to reach. I even teach kids that are incarcerated. Right before this, I had finished my class. There's a place here in Miami called the Miami-Dade County Correctional Boot Camp Program. And I actually teach them this program online. And then when they come out, because they're there not for a long period of time, when they come out, they continue the program and they do the hands-on portion at our locations. Any other questions? Let me see. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I think all right, so Homestead Correctional, I'm pending authorization to go in to teach the program. We already applied both to the through the Everglades facility. We applied, and like anything, we need to be authorized to go in. So we're waiting to be able to do that. Financial support programs are, and thank you for that question, Yvonne, because you're like my Jiminy Cricket, because I've got so many things on this head. So what happens is when our students, we not only train them And thank you. I completely forgot about that. We train him and then we help him find a job. We have a success coach and a life coach, if you want to call it, but we call him the success coach. What he does is he helps them find a job and then he follows through with them on whatever the needs they are. So let's say that we got an interview for a young lady and she doesn't have the right clothing to go to that interview. We provide that for her. Let's say that she doesn't have boots to start working because she got the job. We get her the boots, we get her the PPE, we get her a bus pass. So literally we try to remove all the obstacles needed for that young lady to be successful when starting the job. And then we do weekly phone calls to follow through to see how she's doing, if there's anything else that we could do, and so forth. We're working on a project that will provide housing, especially for the reentry population, young men. The bootcamp program, there's 16 to 23-year-olds that do not have a major crime that, you know, they messed up. And the judge, they're in the boot camp, which is a paramilitary program, as an alternative. Those young men sometimes come out and they're homeless. So we're working on the next step of our to-do list, which is to find housing that we can give them, provisional housing that is not a shelter, because sometimes these young men, you put them in a shelter and we lose them. So it put them in a different situation. The boot camp also has young ladies, by the way. So anything else, Yvonne, that I could have forgotten? Okay. So I think that's all for me. I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. You guys have a great day, and I love everything that I read about Seroptimus. So I don't know, I was thinking of maybe that scholarship committee. I might have a little bit of time to be able to put some time in there.
That would be absolutely amazing. We would
Okay.
love to see you around Seroptimus a lot more. Some of our board, the Southern Region Board, was already texting and communicating behind the scenes about some ideas they had for future meetings based on the information you were giving today, just because it's so very much needed, and we're very impressed with your organization.
I would like, on the next time that you give me the mic, we have two other programs that one of them is in nursing and in medical assistant. That's also a free program. And that one is completely online. And then we also have a pre-apprenticeship in cyber security. That's also online. So that we could kind of bring it in, but I do need some time to coordinate that.
Well, Dr. Heidi, our District 1 director, is over in the chat box saying, yay, yay, yes, please. So we are definitely going to forward, your information to her, as well as get with Yvonne as Governor-elect Kacie, and we will definitely be in touch. The online programs is something our Southern region can probably help more with, because we are spread out. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. So I know that you don't have any up here this way with the current program, but maybe with the other ones, we could work together.
All right. Thank you so much. You ladies have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tomas.
Bye-bye.
The time has come.
It has.
Closing remarks.
It looked like, hang on, somebody's hand was up. Give me 1 second. I just saw it because I was speaking. Oh, they took their hand down.
Put it back up if you want.
Put it back up if you want to chat. You've got Governor-elect Kacie and I here. Oh, there it is. Miss Lois Carson, we will have you unmute and you can speak.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. I couldn't figure out how, I posted on the chat thing, but I couldn't figure out how to make it come up onto the screen so Victoria Tomas could see it. I'm so impressed with her. All I stated in the comment was, in Madison, Wisconsin, at their area technical school, they have started a camp for young girls. They started with Girl Scouts, teaching them basic carpentry tools, and they're continuing it through, well, they worked online for a lot of it, but they're continuing in-person classes now. And I just think this is a movement that I see having a big strength for women, and I'm so pleased to see it. And I just wanted to tell Ms. Tomas that she's a real champion. I grew up in a family. My father was a self-taught carpenter and farmer, and I learned how to do stuff. And I have at this point in my life remodeled, and I mean, seriously, hanging sheetrock, installing cabinets and flooring and all kinds of stuff. And what I learned from my dad and then what I've taught myself over the years, we've done 5 projects so far, my husband and I. So I love it. I think it's terrific. And that's all I really
Come to
wanted.
my house, Lois.
That's what all my friends say. I have a project, Lois. But thank you. I'm so glad that I wanted especially to hear her report, but thanks for the time to chat.
Awesome. And sorry I missed your hand a few moments ago, Lois, but I'm glad you were able to share that information. All right, Miss Kathy.
Well, I think it's it zoomed by. I think it's been an amazing job. The district directors and our our homestead, I'm trying to remember what we call them, our host clubs have done. It's really amazing. And I do want to take a lot away from what we talked about today. And one of them is we need to support each other, especially when there's stress of doing a Zoom. I appreciate everybody's support. We want to love each other and we want to be kind to each other. And we also want to remember to reach out to each other, because that's very important. It's always important, but particularly now. It's great they all came, and hope to see you in real life soon. April, right? Governor Michelle?
Well, thank you, Governor-elect Kathy. As you guys know, we've had a lot of teamwork, and I couldn't have gotten through the last 18 months. I'm not sure that sentence actually worked out. I have had a lot of caffeine and less sleep, but without Governor-elect Kathy and our board. And so I just want to say thank you guys again. This meeting was a great success, as have our other Zooms been. And we just want to remind you of our focus for the rest of this year. We definitely want to increase membership, participate in the Dream It, Be It program. We also want to focus on that big goal that Governor-elect Kathy and many of our other presenters spoke about today. And we want to thank you for taking time on your Saturday to join us on this Zoom meeting. And as Governor-elect Kathy said, we can't wait to see you in Tampa in April. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and we will continue to monitor, how everything will go. But right now we are leaning towards the in-person meeting in April in Tampa. And at this time, we just want to wrap up with the Sir Optimus Pledge. So we are going to have past governor and Decatrell join us. And then after the pledge, I'm going to try to make everybody live. It'll take a second, but if anybody wants to stay on and say hello to their friends after the pledge is over, I will promote everybody back to a live session. And again, we appreciate everybody's participation today. Let me go find my good friend, past Governor Ann. It looks like we have one more question. Past Governor Ann, if you can wait for the pledge for one moment. I have Susan Heimberg, who had her hand up. Hey, Miss Susan.
Hey, Michelle and Kathy.
Hi.
Miss Tamaz, I heard Miss Tamaz say that she wanted to access, her next goal was to access foster girls. And she also is looking to come into Broward and Palm Beach County. Well, our organization works with a lot of organizations that handle foster girls. So I can give her a direct link to those leaders and maybe bring her into Palm Beach County if you want to pass that on.
Sure. What I'll do actually is I'm going to send you her email address in the chat box so that you could reach out to her. And if you don't mind establishing a direct connection, that may be helpful in you in making those introductions to the people that you have. Do you mind doing that?
Okay, thanks.
All right, Miss Susan. So good to speak with you.
You too. Great job, guys.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it. I'm also going to screen share, Miss Kathy, and past Governor Ann, if you want to start your video, I am going to go find our pledge in all of my background here.
Governor Michelle has lots of files on her desktop today.
A lot of files on my desktop today, but hopefully it went fairly smoothly for us.
Oh, past Governor Ann, looks like you have the scarf.
Oh, yes, I wore the scarf also.
Yeah,
you-
we are ready when you are, Past Governor.
I pledge allegiance to Sir Optimist and to the ideals for which it stands, the sincerity of friendship, the joy of achievement, the dignity of service, the integrity of profession, the love of country. I will put forth my greatest effort to promote, uphold, and defend these ideals for a larger fellowship in home, in society, in business, for country, and for God.
Thank you so much, Past Governor Ann. We love to have you or participation and on such an important piece of our event here. So we are wrapping up. I am, like I said, going to promote some people over to panelists to see if we can have some more live people. We'll see how it goes. We wrapped a little early. Definitely want to get our district directors back over here.
I'm gonna go get some sour candy.
Oh, that's very fun. There's Heidi.
I'm back.
You guys may have to click a button. Does it ask you, Heidi, when I promote you back to panelist? If you'll.
It asks, yes, and then you still